Well, was it a stormy day or what? We had showers and storms all over the place. They finally started to let up a little bit. The drive home was a little hairy in Northwest Arkansas, wasn't it? Of course, I-49 is always kind of a mess show for us. Well, more storms are in the forecast, just not for this evening. Right now, looking at showers and storms around Tulsa, those are moving north. Our next chance of storms is going to be twofold. First, tonight, a chance of some scattered showers after midnight. That's with something called the low level jet. That thing picks up during the overnight hours. And then tomorrow, there's going to be a big line of storms, probably supercells with tornadoes in central Oklahoma. They move off the dry line, but they get into our area, they start to weaken, which isn't a bad thing. Hey, speaking of I-49, this is what it looks like going through 5:30 in the evening. Some cloudy skies, some strong winds out behind that system. You can see the trees moving around a little bit. We had a lot of showers and storms that were out there. The showers, for the most part, are done. So if you're headed out there, you could, well, I don't know, you can kind of see the amp on that shot. I guess Hosier's playing tonight. A lot of you probably worried about that. I think the weather's going to be okay for it, unless you bought, well, the what do they call it? The field, the yard. If you're sitting out in the grass, yikes. Grass is going to be wet. You want to get a Walmart sack for your butt when you head out there. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty messy. All right. So, what's it look like as far as it goes right now? This is the satellite and radar. What I wanted to show you here was this giant cinnamon roll. So, this is the low pressure spinning counterclockwise. There have been some real nasty tornadoes. I'm sure you'll see video on some of the news um, or some of the internets or TikToks for the kids out there these days. But you can see that counterclockwise swirl. There have been some large tornadoes out around Nebraska. I know meteorologists in this area have been watching it close and also looking into parts of Kansas where these little bubbles are. These are cumulus clouds. So those things could also bring up some showers and storms. This is the dry line. You can see this line here dividing the dark colors, which is dry air, from the white cloud tops, which is the more moist air. And here to the south, from about Tulsa southwest, these storms, they were bubbling up around Oklahoma City. As they moved into that rain cooled air over us, though, they did fall apart. So I think overall the trend for the rest of the evening, by the way, the dry line advances east during the day. It backs up at night. It does it repeatedly. That's why they get several repeated outbreaks in Oklahoma of severe weather until a big system sweeps everything east. That happens Sunday night. So I think for the next 2 days, there's probably going to be quite a bit of tornadoes out across Kansas as well as Oklahoma. I want to take a look too. Let's see if we can pull up what it looks like here with radar on it, a big picture view of this thing. So you can see the cluster of strong storms and tornadoes out there around Omaha and Lincoln. Those are moving northeast. Even a tornadic cell here south of Kansas City. That was actually pretty close to home, I guess. It's northwest of Joplin. That's going to be moving into Missouri shortly. And these cells in Oklahoma, watch what happens to these. I mean, just watch them as they develop from the first couple frames. Right here. Watch this. Going, almost gone? Yeah, they're moving out. So we're not looking at a whole lot in the way of any redevelopment as we head into the late evening hours. And even though the Storm Prediction Center has us under an enhanced risk, I just don't see it. I think it's too cold out there. I think we have rain cooled air. It's going to be tough to get anything going until that low level jet kicks in. So what's it look like as far as the watches and warnings and all that stuff go? So these this shading here is actually tornado watches. So they go from Iowa, Nebraska, back into Oklahoma, all the way down to Texas. You can see some storms that are out there as well, but look at temperatures locally. I mean, it's 66 in Fayetteville, 69, or sorry, 69 in Fayetteville. I guess it's 66 in Springdale, 66 in Rogers. Way too cool. A little warmer in Fort Smith, sure, 73 degrees. But look out west. It's in the 80s behind that dry line, 87 degrees in just north of Oklahoma City. And right there along the dry line where these storms are cracking, it's 75 and 80 degrees. The atmosphere is much more unstable out towards that direction. And that's why the storms are developing just out to the west. I want to pull up, and this is an internet source, so it may look a little wonky, but I think it'll do a good job. These are 24-hour rainfall totals. Get your bearings here. This is Rogers. We'll move to the north to Bentonville. So Bentonville picked up around an inch and a half or so. Cave Springs, right around an inch of rain. This was a great rain for us today. Where are we at here? This is Springdale picking up close to about 8/10 of an inch. And then moving south into Fayetteville, out at Drake Field, we picked up about 9/10 of an inch of rainfall. I'm going to move down to the south now, and we'll see what we picked up farther south. We had some heavy rain that moved through Fort Smith, officially a 24-hour rain total of about 0.82, out around Barling, about 0.8. I think for the most part, we've had heavy showers throughout the day. Just looking to see if there's any big outliers. There's one there, the Buffalo River. I think that's wrong. Sometimes the wind will tip these rain gauges and then they refill. And when it tips, it thinks it's full. So that 3 inches is likely anomalous. It's not something that's actually fallen. But the heaviest totals were actually in Benton County, it looks like. About an inch and a half in Bentonville. Bentonville got soaked with this thing. And then farther to the south, we had plenty of rain as well. In the Van Buren and the Fort Smith area. So nice little rain for us. All right, so what's next here over the next couple of days? Well, we're going to be looking at some storms on Saturday. So let me pull the model data up. So this is the what we call the HRRR model, high resolution rapid refresh. It's also what we call a CAM model. Everything in weather's acronyms. It's a convective allowing model. So it's a CAM model and it's high res, and usually it gives us an idea of what's going to happen. It's not accurate. It's a model. Models are only as good as the data you put into it, and weather's still an imperfect science. But for Saturday, here's how it's going to play out. So let me back up to where we are now. So this was that big gaggle of storms that just moved through Fort Smith and Fayetteville, as well as Bentonville just a moment ago. These are the storms that developed out around Tulsa. You saw them just a second ago. Those storms are moving northeast. So overnight, it's gone. This is 7, 8, 9 o'clock. This is what I mean. If you're headed out this evening, the weather's actually going to be pretty good, except for the grass being so wet. And then overnight, see, this is the low level jet kicking out some stuff. 6, 7, 8, 9. This is close to about 4 in the morning. So we'll have some scattered showers that are out there early on. Does not look like they pose a severe threat. And then we get into the day tomorrow. Remember how I was talking about that dry line? So it backs up to about Elk City. Right now, it's actually located near Tulsa. So it retreats to about Elk City. And then we get into daytime heating. And these things get just nasty tomorrow. These are all going to be strong storms, likely supercells. Timeline on this, let me back you up here. This is that's 1 in the afternoon. So by 1 o'clock, we may have some scattered showers breaking out locally, but this is the big time storms that are popping up around Oklahoma City. This is climate wise what you would expect to find for this time of year. And then this is 3 in the afternoon, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So by the time we get into late evening, 9 o'clock in the evening, you'll see some of those storms start to press in. I think if we get storms tomorrow, it's going to be close to late evening. But again, the dry line backs up at night. So by the time this rolls around, and this is looking at midnight tomorrow night, most of these things are dying as they move east. I do think some of them make it into the area overnight, late on Saturday into Sunday. You can see those storms starting to crawl east. By the way, this is 6 a.m. on Sunday. So I know it says at the bottom Saturday storms, but well, this is Sunday. And then everything moves east. That's that big push we finally get where everything moves on out of the area late day on Sunday. So these storms that pop up tomorrow right here, these are supercells tomorrow afternoon, and they'll give us another chance of some severe weather. So wrapping it up in a nutshell, what a rainy day. It was great to get the rain. And for the most part, we didn't have any bad storms, which is great. It was loud. My dogs went crazy. I'm sure if you have Goldens, they went nuts too, or any other Fido for that matter. But looking ahead into the next 24 hours, more rain showers possible after midnight tonight. Doesn't look like it poses a severe threat. Gangbuster storms going out tomorrow around I-35 in central Oklahoma. Those make a run at us tomorrow night. They should weaken with the tornado threat by the time they get here. The rain gets here overnight Saturday into Sunday. Sunday starts off rainy. Everything sweeps out after that and gives us a break. I was looking briefly at next week, and next week looks pretty sloppy too. So we'll have more storm chances. But hey, it's the end of April, getting into May. This is kind of what you would expect for this time of year. Anyway, that's going to do it for me for tonight. I hope you guys have a great evening out there and hope you got some beneficial rain out in the backyard. I'll see you back tomorrow. I'll try to do another update as we look ahead towards the weather forecast coming up on Sunday. See you then.